What's going on, guys? Nick Moore from the PHP Pros. This will be installment 1, the introduction to software development, programming, and all that ties into it. The first thing I like to do is go over programming and software development from a high level to understand, why would I get into programming? How can I do it? Is it right for me? These are questions that I know myself and many others face when coming into this field. It's a scary field. Everyone feels like they don't know what they're doing at first, and that's totally fine. There were many times where I didn't feel like I was cut out for this field. I understand how difficult it is, and if you really take the time and focus on it and dedicate, X amount of hours a week to this, you can start to see improvements really quick. So the first thing I'd like to go over is the why of learning to develop software or learning to program or code. And I list out 5 main things that are important to me in terms of staying in this industry and growing my career and wanting to better myself day by day. Number 1 is job opportunities. There's job opportunities from junior to senior in every realm that is the software world. Project managers, database architects, software engineers, systems admins. The list goes on. There's always going to be jobs no matter what. It's easy to transition between the jobs. It's easy to become a systems admin out of a database admin. It's easy to become a front-end developer out of a back-end developer, and so on. Number 2 is it can be done anywhere in the world. I can pick up my laptop. I can fly out to wherever I want on vacation. I can still get my time in at work and make sure that I complete all of my tasks and enjoy my vacation, anywhere in the world. Number 3 is you'll never stop learning. To this day, it's incredible. I feel like I only know 1% of the industry, and that's how I'm always going to feel. You never stop learning. You're always going down a rabbit hole of things you can learn, and that's the biggest fear that I had to overcome was never feeling like you know enough. And once you've spent time in this industry and you get more comfortable, you'll realize that it's okay. It's okay to be a jack of all trades and master of none. Nobody's really a master of anything in this industry. Number 4 is to challenge yourself on a daily basis. Like I said, every day I'm learning something new. I'm learning something new that's both easy and both challenging at the same time. Just because you know how to program doesn't mean that everything's going to be a breeze for you. It may be easier for you, but it's certainly not going to be a breeze. And the 5th thing is it's not as hard as you think. I know coming into this industry, myself and many other developers that I know, their biggest worry is not being able to complete the task at hand. You almost feel like you always need training wheels, but that's certainly not the case. And the more you practice, the more comfortable you're going to get. So the next step is to ask yourself and do your research on the questions revolving how do I begin. The first thing you want to do is find out what you find the most interesting. It's super easy to go out and find a language that you can learn and take a tutorial on, but if you don't have interest in it, you're quickly going to lose interest and pretty much give up programming as a whole. So I would definitely focus on do I want to learn the UI UX? Do I want to learn back-end processing? Do I want to learn data handling or data processing? So these questions are ones you're going to have to ask yourself before you can really decide what the right path is for you. In terms of programming itself, the language that I'm going to be teaching you guys is something called PHP, which is a web server scripting language. The reason that I'll be teaching it is it's fairly easy to pick up. 2, it's going to teach you the fundamentals of programming that any other language would, contrary to much belief in the programming world. PHP is just still as powerful as it has been for the last, 2 decades. It's still a great language to learn, great language to use. And the reason that I'm going to teach that language is the job market for web development and WordPress is all run off of PHP. I believe the number is something like 80% of current web programs are run on PHP. So it's a great language. There's always going to be business for it. I just think it's the perfect language to get started out with. The third thing is learning how to manage your environments. You're going to have to be familiar with your hardware. You got to learn your file system. You got to learn the database layer. You got to learn the OS, and that's all stuff that I'm going to help you learn. It's going to be difficult at first, but understanding this will help you become a stronger developer, by tenfold in terms of speed. Then the fourth thing is to expand your skills outside of just programming. A language like PHP will allow you to interact with the front end. It'll let you bring in some JavaScript. You can bring in some Python to interact with a database layer that is built off of PHP. It's just an all-around great low programming language to learn to get your feet wet and get started in this field. And the fifth thing is to practice. I can't teach you that. You have to dedicate yourself. If you're not going to dedicate at least 5 to 10 hours a week doing this, then there's no way you're going to succeed. Even me now taking a day or two off can, cause me to be a little bit rusty. But for the first couple of months, you definitely do not want to give up and take a week off and then come back and pick it up, because that's not going to work. I can promise you now you're wasting your time if you're going to do that. So with all of the the basics, I don't want to belabor stuff that you can research on your own. The first thing that I want everyone to do is to install this. It's called Mamp, which stands for Mac OS, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. This will be the platform in which we will be developing on. This will allow us to run our PHP, MySQL, and a web server, which is Apache. We won't go over that until later, but this will let you essentially run a full web server on your local machine. They did just integrate it for Windows. If you use Windows, I'm sorry, go buy a Mac. But anyway, download this whether you're on a Mac or on a PC. In the next video, we'll start off with setting up this environment and learning to code.